What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. All right, Friday after market close, judge comes out and puts a kibosh on the lawsuit. AMC regular stock almost doubles, hitting a high of 880 before eventually cooling off. It's sitting at about $6 as of right now. I want to talk about two different perspectives being passed around on the internet over this weekend, give you my take on them, and also talk about this letter. I think that people wrap onto one thought and kind of just let their minds go rather than taking a step back and looking a little bit further. So I want to cover everything for you in this video. Guys, this video is going to be the same as every single video I've made since I started on YouTube, 100% honest, okay? I might not always be right. There have been plenty of times I am wrong, but I always am honest, all right? There's a lot of people in the comments that appreciate the honesty. Thank you for leaving those comments and riding with me. For those of you that think I am being negative in any facet, I always try to give also two sides of the perspective of the spectrum, okay? Both a positive outlook on it and as well what could be the potential for the downside. And like I said, guys, it is just trying to be 100% honest with you. I've never been one of those who creates a video every single day saying Moaz tomorrow, Moaz confirmed, okay, or try to breed anything that is not 100% truthful to my heart, okay? So let's get right into it. First off, two things right here, okay? AMC obviously pops, cools off a little bit, sitting right down at $6. The one thing that kind of interests me, we've talked about this for quite some time when it comes to how the market is going to rebalance, okay? How the market is going to price these two different equities, okay, that are kind of valued very similarly based off the same market cap, right? And you see Ape immediately begin to tank, right? Because if it cannot convert, right, it's sitting at just under $2. If it cannot convert to that AMC, which is what was just a little over $4, right? Then what is the immediate value of it, right? Algorithms kick in, AMC obviously pops, Ape begins to dip, but Ape immediately rebalanced. And as you can see right now, it's just down about 4 cents on the day, which is, just a little over 2%. And it pretty much, like I said, went right back to where it was. So there's one thing that stands out to me, okay? And you hear, Adam Aaron, and I will get into his letter in just a moment, but you hear about people talking about, listen, there's going to be, new processes trying to be filed, trying to get this to be overturned, right? They're going to try to do new things in order to be able to convert Ape into AMC or whatever they can do to continue to raise equity. And by the looks at just the chart alone, okay, and how the market, okay, which obviously everything is not fair in the market, but how the market is balancing these two equities, it does line up, right? And if you remember what I had said previously, saying, listen, just because there was another individual, which I forget she was a court master or whatever her title was, had said, listen, I believe that the judge should go through with this. I said to you guys that doesn't mean it's going to happen. And if you take a look at the way these two equities are pricing, okay, and the percentage difference between, the market is not buying it, okay? The market is not believing that that was going to happen. And clearly, as you can see, it began to rebalance. And obviously you have it because of the ruling. However, seeing us sitting back right up pretty much at that same level kind of indicates that, listen, this is not over as of yet, okay? Adam Aaron is going to continue to try to do whatever he can in order to raise more capital for AMC, okay? So like I said, guys, we are still very, very early stages. Obviously, there are going to be new motions that are filed, and as those come out, we'll continue to update you. I'm not making videos every day, obviously, but when anything gets to be very important that I feel like isn't really covered by at least some of the masses, I will obviously come on here and share my point of view with you. Now, let's get into this letter. First off, guys, for the people that are saying that Adam Aaron once again, killed the gamma squeeze that could have happened today, or Adam Aaron killed the squeeze that was going to happen on Monday, or whatever you want to call it, guys, this letter right here isn't going to have any, lasting effect on price action, right? So everything is instantaneous. You have algorithms that are constantly scraping, they're picking up for certain keywords, and boom, they're immediately going to, get into that buying model or selling model and kind of just rip. And then until obviously, actual, buying pressure comes in from institutions or retail traders or what have you. And that's what's going to be able to move the price action. Something as small as a letter like this will not make any lasting effect. Let's say it was dropped, 10:30 in the morning, I don't know, an algorithm happens to be scraping this, even though I do think that was a rare occurrence, it might have a very, very minimal effect, but it's not going to have a lasting effects. So for those of you that are saying that, listen, this letter had a direct effect of price action as of today, as I'm making this video about 30 minutes before market close, I do not agree with you whatsoever, not even the slightest bit. Okay. Now let's get into this letter. Okay. Now, the things that stand out to me, guys, right? And so obviously, this is my own perception. This is my own personal feeling. This is my own just a view on everything that has happened over the past couple years, taking a look, trying to separate some of my emotions, taking away, some of my technical, analysis when it comes to looking at a stock, and trying to put myself, really just viewing Adam Aaron's job and role as a business leader. And when you see a letter like this to me is, I don't want to say a call of desperation, okay, or a paraphrasing of desperation, but it is kind of like that we're getting down to those last few attempts to what he can really do in order to urge investors, right? In order to urge us to say, listen, I don't know how else I can make this clear to you guys that we need to raise capital, right? This is getting even to, it's not just like, hey, we need to raise capital. We're in a great financial, aspects, but obviously things are going to change. No. This is him really getting into the nitty gritty. And you can take a look and go through all of this and try to put yourself in a different perspective and read this and see that this was, really thought out. He talks about the financial collapse, okay, of obviously Cineworld and Regal, the second largest movie theater in the world. It fell into bankruptcy. He talks about if we're not able to raise any equity capital, the risk material increases of AMC conceivably running out of cash in just a couple short years. Talks about the refinancing of the debt. Obviously, guys, interest rates are can be different. It's completely different when it comes to convertible notes and commercial debt. That is obviously completely different than what you're seeing on mortgage rates and so forth. But obviously, the federal fund rate does drive a lot of that action. Okay, you can go into this, and he gets into much more detail at the end. Okay, this is at the end. This is a kind of like a big perspectives, right? At the end, he says, listen, I'm on your side. Okay, remember, I'm the largest retail shareholder. I have economic interest into this. I have financial interest into this. I'm not going to sell any more than I already have. Okay, my own finances are directly aligned with yours. As I've said before, I ride with you, right? So he talks about all of this, and then he kind of, closes you in and says, listen, I am one of you, right? So basically, you need to begin to trust what I am saying, right? And this goes a day before the company releases this press. Okay, right here. More than 7.8 million moviegoers in the US internationally saw a movie at AMC Thursday to Sunday. Okay, it's their biggest and busiest weekend since 2019. It's also their second highest food and beverage revenue day. Okay, that was, I believe, on Saturday. Revenue day in the company's 103-year history, right? So even though you are seeing a lot of these pauses when it comes to movie theaters, people going back out, people having interest, obviously everything that's happening when it comes to the actor and actress world, that's obviously going to affect them as well. There is still that dying urge to be able to raise capital. Okay, so I do not feel that this attempt is over. Okay, and obviously, just because we hear about the motions that are going to be filed and the continuance, there's going to be a lot more to come out, I believe, over the next probably 1 to 3 weeks. It's going to take a little bit of time before their lawyers get involved and basically what their strategic plan is going to be going forward. Okay, now when it comes to the price action, obviously AMC is still up about 34% as I'm making this, trying to hang around that $6 price point, putting any shorts that were in that position obviously underwater, about that 33% price range. But it still does have, like I said, time to be able to do this because it did fall below that. And like I said, Ape did also kind of reprice. So, but like I said, guys, I don't want to get into too much of the price action because everything's really on the forefront on what their next attempt is going to be. So take a look at this letter. I know I probably repeated myself a couple times when I, have just said that some of this gets into, the emotions of what he's saying and, how it was, presented, and just the fact that it's kind of getting to a point where they are really showing their cards a little bit more openly than they have in the past, in my opinion. So guys, that's it for this video.